From New York City, it's Rock Hard with Jay Conroy.
Okay, Renan and Ben are with me from Electric Mob. It is a pleasure. How you guys doing?
Yeah, great.
Doing
Jay,
great.
Yeah.
You guys got an album out that is making waves. It is called Discharge. It is a hard rocking album. Your sound is described as 70s power vocals, 80s mean guitar riffs, mixed with the heavy groove of the 90s and 2000s, which is a very accurate description. I know that originally, I'm always looking for new bands, and on Spotify, probably when it first came out, I heard Devil You Know. And, I'll listen to 30, 40 songs at a time to find new music for the show all the time. And, a lot of times if I hear something and I'm not too sure about it, I'll be honest, I fast forward to the vocals and listen. But Devil You Know had me right from the start. And I stayed with the song the entire way through. And I said, okay, this band is right up my alley. Now, there's a couple of things that I'd like to do, or I should say don't like to do. I don't want to see what the band looks like. Okay. And I tell people this all the time because I come from the 70s, my first, like Black Sabbath and Deep Purple and stuff like that. Okay. And then the glam rock with Alice Cooper and, David Bowie and New York Dolls, all that sort of stuff. Okay. So looks played a really big role in the 70s. So again, I don't want to see the band because I don't want to prejudge what they look like by what they sound like. Okay. Kind of like MTV was in the 80s. All right. Most of that crap would have never made it on there if any of these bands, if these bands didn't have a look. Okay. Most of it was crap music, but they had such a look. So, knowing nothing about you, I said, okay. I bought the song. I said, okay. I see the album's on pre-order. Put it on the show that week. Then you guys released your second single, King's Ale, and started playing that. And then I noticed you really took off on Spotify. You guys got the header on Spotify at one point on the hard rock. You are over 1 million streams to date, which is incredible. Unfortunately, It's not like the old days where you'd be making money off of those streams, but but it is what it is. Now, you're doing quite well on YouTube as well. Your first video, Devil You Know, is pushing 185,000 views. And Upside Down is well over 56,000. So you guys are doing good on every spectrum. And speaking of videos, but I'll get back to that. But I want to ask. I know the band was formed in 2016. How did the band form? How did the two of you meet each other along with the other guys in the band?
Yeah, actually, Renan and I, we knew each other, like we knew the existence of each other since we were like 14 years old. And like,
Really?
Yeah, I played in a band and Renan in another one, and we never actually met. And then like my band played in some, shitty venues, but Renan's band didn't. And like he said that we were like just jackasses that, playing, you have that competition going on, but we never actually met. And then a few years later, I jammed a few songs with Renan's band when I was not living in our hometown at that time. I was living in Curitiba, where the band was formed. And after that, we started talking. And then when Renan decided to move to Curitiba, the capital of our state, it's a bigger city than our hometown, he gave me a call and asked if I want to, start a new band and start kicking some asses. And I was like, yeah, totally.
So now you did that because on your YouTube channel, I noticed that, you guys started off as a cover band, and a damn good one, I may say. I mean, I saw, what did I see here? I jotted this down. I saw a video, Gimme Shelter by the Rolling Stones. It's So Easy, Guns N' Roses, Oh Darling. Jet, Are You Gonna Go My Way? So were those videos before you guys had any original materials? You were just like, look, let's jam and put this stuff on YouTube?
No,
Yeah,
actually,
yeah, you can go.
we started as a cover band, but we always wanted to do our own stuff.
Sure.
And we as we lead as a musician, you gotta have a living, and you gotta make a living. You gotta pay your bills, and the cover gigs are the best way to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we started as a cover band. We had our own material since 2017 when we released our first EP with 4 songs, and but we we did the gigs in kind of in between, the cover gigs with our original songs and all this stuff going on at the same time.
Okay, now then fast forward to 2017. Renan, you were on The Voice Brazil.
Yep.
And did you win? I mean, I don't even watch The Voice here in America, quite honestly.
Me
So-
neither.
Yeah, yeah.
In America
just
or Brazil, you don't watch it.
They
I
just put me
watched
in there and I did my shit.
Yeah, I just watched the Renan, and like that's it. Like I never watched the show.
Right.
So did you audition for that? Like, how did that come about?
Yeah. I auditioned for The Voice in 2016 in São Paulo, and I sung some Stevie Wonder and some R&B stuff. I was kind of getting away of rock music by that time, and they liked what they saw, but they wanted me to sing rock and roll, and I did it, and it was great, awesome experience. I will take it to my grave, and I'm very proud and honored to be there.
Now, did that help you guys get the record deal? Did that propel you to the next step?
Actually, we used the at the Voice as like I like to say as you know a it's more like a marketing stuff, like a tool that we said like, yeah, our singer was at the Voice, and people say, oh yeah, okay, so yeah, he might be a good singer. And I think we used Renan's YouTube views on the email we sent to Frontiers, but they just to grab their attention to our songs.
So the
Just-
first EP was not on Frontiers, correct?
No.
No.
It was self-released.
So you sent it to Frontiers. They took attention. And then I heard or read somewhere that they were really pushing you for a full-length album when you wanted to do an EP. Is that correct?
No, actually, we had second EP with 4 songs already done. Like
Okay.
Devil You Know was one of the songs. The video for Devil You Know it was done by that time too. So we sent that to Frontiers. We said we had this EP from 2017, and now we are about to release the second one. These are the 4 songs. Here's the video of Devil You Know, and after that they emailed us back asking if we wanted to make a full album of this former EP, actually.
And did they have any input? Were they like, look, we're looking for this, we're looking for that? Because the album is very diverse. You take a song like Devil You Know, and it's very different from Far Off or Gypsy Touch. You're very diversified on this album, which I love.
Oh,
So
thanks.
you're welcome. Did Frontiers push you in any kind of direction, or did they just kind of let you guys do what you were doing?
Yeah, they let us do what we want to do. Actually, they asked us if we could let the musics into a hard rocker way, but we
said,
didn't
okay.
listen that much.
Yeah, we said, yeah, okay, sure, yeah, but we did whatever we wanted to, and that's Discharge. And after that,
and we gave them so much material. I think we gave them 18 or 19 songs
Wow.
in 2 months for them to pick the right ones. So they didn't they didn't force us to do anything.
Yeah, it was pretty cool that he answered us back after they listened to the demos, and they said, "Yeah, it's pretty cool that you guys could do a more hard rock stuff, you know." And say, "Yeah, totally, yeah, it was yeah intentional."
So, were they considering W No not as hard rock? Was that part of what you're
Actually,
saying?
the first CP, the four songs that we sent to them were Devil You Know, Gypsy Touch, Brand New Rope, and Upside Down. So if you take, I think Gypsy Touch, Brand New Rope, and Upside Down, they are more like alternative and more modern.
Hmm.
Uh, but it's just us, like the same guys that actually Far Off was already written for the EP. We just didn't record it. So that's Electric Mob actually. Like we do modern stuff. We use something from '90s, some stuff from like nowadays from 2000, and some stuff from the '70s.
Yeah, they just wanted to be sure of what they were signing. You know,
Yeah.
they wanted to be sure if we were a real hard rock band, and we are. We just
Yeah.
didn't get the right amount of money to do
Land.
a long play that time.
Well, you definitely, by the way, Far Off is my favorite track on the album. Love that song, man.
Oh, thanks.
Awesome,
Yeah,
man. It's
It's
one
a
of my
great
favorites too.
song.
yeah, it's a great hard rock song actually. Yeah, I like that too.
And listening to the album, it is definitely very much like the description that I read in the beginning of this. It's little 70s, little 80s, little today, and it just all fits together. Um, Now, Henan, you have a powerhouse of a voice.
He's an
Thank you,
idiot.
man.
You're welcome. Incredible. When did you start singing? Did you always sing? Did you always have
No,
aspirations to be a singer?
no, actually, I was forced to do it because I was in a high school band,
Uh-huh.
and I wanted to be a guitar player. I wanted to be one of those classy shredders like Adrian Smith, but I never got there. And we didn't have a singer by the time, and I started to sing till we find a proper vocalist to the band, and I found a lot better guitar player than me, and I dropped my guitar and started to sing and let him do his stuff.
We talking
So
about this guy here, Ben?
No.
no,
No.
Ben is way better than that guy. But
Oh, thanks.
yeah, I sucked.
No, Hannah is an awesome guitar player. Yeah, I really like the way he plays. It's a really different from my style of playing, and we're all about the blues based or hard rock actually. But
Yeah, which is
no,
where I come from. I mean, to me, blues-based boogie hard rock is what
Yeah,
is for me. I like metal, don't get me wrong, but it's like blues is where it's at. Now, Ben, speaking of your guitar, you are a smoking guitar player.
oh, thanks, man.
You're welcome. You have very cool stage presence. I watch the videos and I'm like, this guy's a badass, man. He's like all over the place. How long have you been playing? What started you playing guitar?
I played. I started play when I was in the seventh grade. I can remember my age actually. I don't know, 12. I can't actually remember. But I always when the first rock band that I listened to was Guns N' Roses, and like I'm not my family is not a rock and roll family. Like my family always listened to Brazilian country music and the music that was playing the soap opera at the time. Yeah, the soundtrack of the soap opera. That's the stuff that my dad and my mom listen. And then when I'm listening to Guns N' Roses, I say, yeah, I want to do this. Like, but never actually start to play. I was just dreaming about it. And when I was in the seventh grade, I saw a band in the school, and the guitar player he was at the sixth grade. And I said like, yeah, he's 1 year younger than me, and he's already playing in a band. So yeah, I need to move my ass to do some stuff about it. And then like I never stopped. I actually when I went to college, I dropped. I didn't want it to be a musician anymore. Not don't didn't want it to. I just was focused in the studying and all this stuff. Actually, I'm a geologist, like the drummer from our band.
Oh.
Yeah, rocks, heavy metal. Well, it's all related.
Yeah, it's all related.
And when Renan called me, I was living in the U.S. I was studying geology in New Paltz, actually near Poughkeepsie.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
I lived there for 1 year, and Hannah called me and said, "Yeah, next year I'm going to Curitiba. Let's start a band." And I said, "Yes, yeah. I don't like geology, so."
So you were ready to get back into it.
Yeah. So actually, I need to thank Hannah for this opportunity, because
Now,
I was about to deal with another kind of rock.
yeah, yeah. And that other kind of rock isn't going anywhere. So, years down the road, you can always go back to it. What is you're out playing clubs. What is the rock scene like in Brazil? What is the club scene? Because before you answer that, I know big rock is huge in Brazil. Okay. For instance, I am a hardcore Aerosmith fan. I know a bunch of, which by the way, while we're here, okay, influences Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, the Beatles, the Stones, Janis Joplin, Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, Foo Fighters, Arctic Monkeys, Audio Slave. Where's Aerosmith?
That's kind of bad because we love Aerosmith.
That's all I want to hear. That's okay.
We just forgot to put them in the list.
You can go make changes on your Facebook.
Yeah. Actually, is it in there yet? Like you can find these bands on Facebook these days. I think we wrote that when we started covering
Okay.
some bands, and at that time we didn't played any Guns N' Roses and Aerosmith songs. I think.
Because I know like those bands, hard rock bands have a huge following in Brazil. And quite honestly, like Rock in Rio and those sorts of things, quite honestly, they play for bigger crowds over there for you than they actually play here. And,
Yep.
I've seen footage and it's like a pilgrimage,
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm spoiled growing up in the New York tri-state area. Okay. When bands came through here, they're playing New York, they're playing New Jersey, they're playing Pennsylvania, they're playing Boston, they're playing DC. All those places are within 3 hours from me. Okay. So I basically have never had to leave the tri-state area. But I go, when I go to see Aerosmith, I can't tell you the amount of people I have met from Brazil that make the trek over here to come see, mostly Aerosmith is where I've met them from. I mean, I'm sure they do it with a lot of other bands. So so that being said, the big rock scene, huge over there. What is it like, club circuit type of thing, for up and coming bands? Is there a club scene? What goes on?
Yeah, we have a lot of clubs, but only in the cover gigs, we don't have that much of space for original music. And actually, the fans are not on our side when it comes to new bands with original music. They just wanted to listen to the old AC/DC tunes and the Led Zeppelin tunes and all that stuff. I love it too, but give us a shot, man.
Yeah, well, that would be my thinking that, hey, people in Brazil, you love all those bands. Why wouldn't you be loving this band? A band from your own country and a band that's kick ass. So yeah, that's very interesting to me that, that they. Go ahead.
I think the rock fans in Brazil are kind of lazy sometimes. Like they
Mm.
are used to like bands from the US or bands from the UK and not bands from here. And
I didn't
like,
even know where you were from. Again, I didn't know what you looked like, and I didn't know where you were from because I just started playing the song, and then, when the album came out is when I finally started doing research. I was like, they're from Brazil. I had no idea. Because again, I don't care where the band's from. I don't care what the band looks like. I want to hear the band. So, but quite honestly, it's the same way. Definitely in New York City, uh, the original band scene. It's very tough for people to draw, for bands to draw. And what they do here is they'll have 7, 8 bands in a night playing the club. So when you go to the club, they're like, "Who are you here to see?" And that's how they tally up. Okay, well, this band drew this many people, this band drew that many people. Um, but yeah, it's the same way here, without a doubt.
oh yeah, it's like I think rock fans are kind of maybe all around the globe they're kind of lazy right now because like with all this rock and roll is dead stuff because I
Yeah,
don't think rock and roll is dead. I think that people that say that these maybe just listen to dead people. That's why they think that rock and roll is dead. They don't
Yeah.
search for new music.
And they only listen to new bands when you spit the material in their faces. They don't like to search new bands, and man, you can just Google it. New rock and roll bands from
right,
all over the world, and
right.
you will get, I don't know, maybe thousands and thousands and thousands of new good bands from all over the place. Um, but yeah, that's a shitty place we're living right now.
Well, you know what, and that's part of what I do because I do a 2-hour show a week. We're on a few different radio stations. It's internet. It's worldwide. So we have listeners from all over the world, and I don't want to just play the same bands. Yeah, I play Aerosmith. Aerosmith starts and ends my show. It's always going to be that way. I'll play Van Halen. I'll play AC/DC, but I will always play the deep cuts. You're not going to hear what you hear on the radio. But that being said, right from the start of me doing this, I said I do not want to be a classic rock station. So I am always seeking out new bands. And I am that guy that puts it in their face for you, going, you need to listen to this band.
And we need to
Okay.
thank you.
Yeah.
We need to thank you for that.
You're welcome. Look, it's a win-win because, like you were saying, everybody says, oh, rock is dead, rock is dead. And, I mean, I can tell you from, the concert schedule over the past, few years. There was maybe 3 summers ago, it was like nothing. I'm like, oh my God. Um, but then things started to make a little bit of a turn, and the bigger acts were on tour again, and the smaller acts, you know, um, like yourselves, were coming into New York and playing clubs. And I'm like, okay, this is great. And they're packing the clubs because they have a following. It's an incredible amount of work for the bands, but it is, like you say, still alive and well. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you guys, if guys like you are not out there doing it, then guys like me can't find it and bring it to people and say, hey man, because at the end of the day, as we know, it's all about distribution.
Yeah,
No matter what you do in
totally,
life, you could have the
totally.
best product in the world, but if you can't get it out there and nobody's listening to it, then you know it's not going anywhere. So um, I want to talk to you guys about your writing process. How does that go about?
Well, we have a bucket with like all the ideas, and we just pick them out. No, uh, we have like everybody in the band. Like we have this process that we do everything together. Like we got someone can bring the first idea, like the first guitar riff or the bass groove, or the drums groove, or Renan came with uh, some melodies, and we start from there. And like everybody is putting their ideas, and a fun thing to write in Electric Mob is that I have like a more 80s oriented hard rock thinking, my way of thinking in music. And if I bring a guitar riff to the rehearsal, or drummer, he's not gonna listen to it as a hard rock, 80s hard rock drummer. He's gonna listen to it like a modern drummer, like, and he will think in the music in another way. And this is how we do stuff. We let everyone have their own voice and like express themselves in the music, and we have these different influences. We all love rock and roll, but we have these influences that makes the album, feels like a lot of different stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Go
and we
ahead.
don't like to put a limit or a label in what we are doing, So we have a lot of influences, um, and we like to let let the people let the writing process be a thing that everyone can do whatever he want to do. And when we got a good song, we go to the studio and record it.
Let me ask you, what made the band a blues-based band as opposed to a heavy metal band? Did you guys listen to that kind of stuff? Did you go back and listen to Robert Johnson and all those sorts of things? Like, where did you get the blues rock influence? I mean, the Stones, obviously a blues rock band, but how did it come about that you're blues rock oriented?
I think that's because our idols are blues based, and blues the roots of rock and roll, and
Yes,
you can't play rock and roll if you don't know the blues.
agreed.
Um,
Mhm.
that's the rule. So I mean, we love Guns N' Roses, who loves Aerosmith, who
Right,
loves Robert Johnson, and
right.
that's it.
Well, that's where I think you're smart, because what I used to say about the 80s is too many of those bands, a lot of these hair metal bands, they never went back past Aerosmith and AC/DC. It's like, well, go back and see where they got it from. Don't just mimic Aerosmith and AC/DC. And that's why so much of, that 80s stuff was so watered down, and just, a lot of it just was not that good. There was very few bands that, for me, there was very few bands that stood the test of time. Guns N' Roses being one of them. They were the real deal.
Because they were real.
Yeah, oh,
They
that they
weren't just
were.
a bunch of jackasses with
Right,
big poodle haircuts.
right. Like here in America, I would sit through, they used to have a show called Headbangers Ball. Um, and, even MTV in general back in its heyday. And a lot of these bands, they'd be like, eh, eh. First time I saw Guns N' Roses, I sat up and I said, whoa, wait a second. I said, these guys mean it. These guys are the real deal. So um, now when the band gets done with an idea for a song, Renan, is that where you step in, start writing your vocals based on what they've done? Do you write the vocals by yourself? Tell me how you go through that process, and what do you write about?
Yeah, I like to write the melodies and the lyrics when I'm alone, and I don't know. Sometimes the melodies come first, but most of the times we have a riff and we have a chorus, and I start from there. So I like to listen to what the music is saying for
Mm,
me to write the lyrics. The
hmm.
feeling that I get from it, and that's pretty much it.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
sometimes we are like Discharge was written in a garage, actually, like the rock and roll cliche.
as it
And
should be, yeah.
when we were like playing and jamming, like we were putting stuff together about some song, and went out you know the street or someplace like alone, and then he all the time came back and say, yeah, I have these, what about you guys, what do you guys think about this? And like he sang some melodies, some na 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 na, or sometimes he actually have some lines written down, and this is pretty cool about him. Like he can get the melodies and the lyrics like that.
Thank you, man.
Is that the only song that has horns, or are there any other horns on the album?
The only one, sadly.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I heard it and I went, "Whoa!" I just heard horns, because I've been listening. I've been listening to the album all day. You guys have pretty much been in every show that I do.
Oh, thanks, man.
Thank you, man.
Welcome, man. It's like got to get people used to it. And so it's lately I've been absorbing the album, and I was really absorbing it today, knowing that I was going to talk to you guys, and I go, I just heard horns, and I actually went back and listened again, and I said, "Yup, there's horns in there." How did that come about?
It's a funky song, and
Yeah, it is.
I think me and Hannah and I just had the same idea at the same time. Like we look at each other and say, "Yeah, we can put some horns in there," and then it fitted perfectly, I think.
Yeah, and a tune with horns and funky sound, it's my dream since I was, I don't know, 8 years old. And I never got the chance to really do that. So when Ben showed me the first riff, I was like, man, we gotta do some funky shit.
Yeah.
All the elements of what I love about rock and roll are in this album. Like you say, funky, blues, a little bit of boogie in there, It's definitely my kind of band. So who played horns, and whose idea was it to bring in that horn player?
Yeah, our producer bring him, his name is Lauro, and he played all the horns in the song, and that's kind of tricky because we kind of used him so much doing these horns that his mouth was like melting at the end. But yeah, he nailed it. Lotto he's a great guy, and he plays very well, and he's very kind, So it was very funny.
The sound of it, like the arrangements, well, it was done by our producer. Yeah, the horns, arrangements. And a secret is that Frontiers emailed us asking if, do you guys really need to keep the horns? And we say yes.
Yep.
And we sent them the link from Ragdoll, I think. And I was like, yeah. So Aerosmith did it, so we can.
Sure. Aerosmith has used, they had a saxophone on their first album, on Mama Kin.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so many.
Sue Aerosmith for
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can have horns on rock and roll. You can have
Sure.
anything.
The Stones used them, God, over and over and over. And, I'm all about having horns back there. I talked to somebody the other day. It says, what do you think about horns in rock and roll? And this guy's in a band. And I said, I like them. They have their place, He's like, I'm not crazy about them. And I'm like, look, without horns, Bitch by the Rolling Stones, it's all horns,
Yep.
And then I was playing Lenny Kravitz on my show shortly after I got off the phone with this guy, Mama Said. And the whole end of that song is loaded with horns,
Yep.
So it's not like I want them to be. There you go. Yes, there you go. So it's not like I want it to be predominant, but at the same time, yeah, they absolutely have their place. Now, this is perhaps a weird question, but nevertheless, I'm going to ask it. On the album, Your Ghost and Brand New Song are listed in all lowercase letters. Why?
Yep. It's just a aesthetic thing we wanted to do. We saw that Billie Eilish did that in her, I don't know, last album, maybe.
All her songs, I think.
Yeah, and we wanted to do that just to bother people.
Yeah, just to bother people. To people ask us, why?
Am I the first one to ask you that question?
No,
No, no.
actually, no.
Yeah.
And what our real intention was like, yeah, we can like with the name of the song we can make people uncomfortable and like why is this song like is this song special because like it's different.
Yes, that's,
And it's happening,
quite
so
honestly,
yeah, it worked.
after hearing Your Ghost, I'm like, well, now I've got to hear the other one because they're all in lowercase. So, it worked. Now, Your Ghost starts off very differently from a lot of the other songs on the album.
Yeah.
And I stayed with it, and it progressed into such a great song. How did it go? Take me through that it started the way it did and progressed right on through to like, oh my God, it builds, it grows, and it's phenomenal.
Thanks,
Yeah,
man. Yeah,
thank you, man. I
this
love
was
that song.
yeah, it's this was the actual intention that we wanted to achieve, and like if you're saying so, like to build in the song, and like in the end it's this mayhem.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then but it's a song that Renan did almost all by. I actually it's his baby, the song. He came with the acoustic and with the vocals, and our bass player, he said, yeah, the song is ready, like we don't need to touch anything on that. And me and Hannah, we thought that no, yeah, we can add some slide guitar and some drums and like make it huge. And but Hannah did it all by himself, like the lyrics, like I love the lyrics from that song, like it's amazing. And I'm really glad that I could be part of it, like playing that and building up the guitar solo and just being part of this song. Like I'm really really glad that Hannah wrote that, and like we could achieve this with this song.
Yeah, I'm very glad to. That progression thing you said, Jay, sorry. Uh, Actually, it was because it's a sad song,
Yeah.
and it the lyrics are very strong in this one. Um, the feeling progresses with the lyrics, and the arrangement need to progress with it too. So it starts very slow and very calm, but it gets sadder and sadder and sadder and sadder till you want to, just like scream. And
Mm.
that's the intention of the arrangements of the song.
So, all right, man.
Yeah, it was a really 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 nice talk, man. It was like you're a really nice guy, like Hannah said. Like I'm really really glad meeting you, man.
Same here,
It's
man. All right, you
yeah
guys, be in touch, man. Rock
yeah
hard.
Yeah, Jay.
yeah.
Thank
All
you,
right.
bro.
See you. Stay safe, man.
You too, guys. All right. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.